Hal Harrell was in that room with me. Tracy King was in that room with me. Senator Cruz, Senator Corn. I didn't even tell you who the DPS officer that gave the damn briefing to the governor. Not me. Not me at all. Because I didn't have any information. Because they wouldn't give me any information. So I'm just as frustrated, maybe not as frustrated as the families that have lost their loved ones, but it pisses me off that I can't give you answers or can't get you answers. So, like I said, I don't owe any allegiance to anybody. I'm termed out as mayor when I get through, and I don't want to seek political office again. So I don't owe any of these elected officials, not a damn thing. And so I'm telling you now, while you're here on the press, and those who are seeing it, I'm not covering up for anybody. If you're guilty, we're going to throw it out there. You want to cover up, we're going to throw it out there. There's no more.
There's no more. That's Uvalde Mayor Don McLaughlin, who originally was on those press conferences with Governor Abbott and Ted Cruz, trying to cover, or I guess at this point, not cover anymore for the problems that are going on surrounding that shooting with those 19 children who were murdered inside of their school. So in order to make sure that he's getting the heat off of him and the local guys, he's making sure those state level guys, those federal guys that are all trying to blame them actually catch the blame that they deserve as well. He talks about some of the agencies that he saw around there and the bad things that were happening. He continued on, watch more.
I don't know what went on in the hallway of Robb Elementary School. I've asked for a full and transparent investigation of what took place that day. First and foremost, the families of the victims, the survivors, and our community need to know the truth. There were no less than 8 law enforcement agencies present in the hallway leading up to the breach of the door at Robb Elementary School. Not 1, not 2, 8 different law enforcement agencies. They consisted of DPS, Texas Rangers, U.S. Marshals, DHS, U.S. Border Patrol, constables, Uvalde Police Department, UCISD Police Department, and the district attorney's own investigator were all there in the hall.
McLaughlin is naming names because the heat was coming down on his direction. Here's more about what he was upset about. Because Uvalde Mayor Don McLaughlin on Tuesday, he accused these state authorities of selectively releasing information about last month's school shooting to scapegoat local law enforcement and intentionally leaving out details about the state's response to that massacre. The heat is on. The mayor said 4 agencies have control of body cam footage. They are the Uvalde District Attorney, the DPS, the FBI, and the state legislator. And someone has chosen to release bits and pieces of body cams, surveillance videos of their choosing, to create chaos in our community and keep the whole truth from coming out. Again, once the heat starts coming to the right folks, they will apply it to the next. I want you to think of this one part about this too, Yaz. As he said, I'm not running for office anymore. I want no part of public service anymore. I don't want to hold this office anymore. So therefore, that gives you the mindset to then start naming names and then start doing the right things. Why is that always the motivation? And they openly say it. They basically say, if I was still running for office, if I was still gonna be the mayor of this town, I'd be covering up like crazy. Why is it you're now free to be truthful once you're out of politics? It's pretty damning.
Yeah, I really wanted to give that mayor a lot of credit for that, right? But unfortunately, that's the nature of politics in America, is people are so concerned with their reelection campaigns that they just don't want to say anything that might alienate some voters, even if that thing that you're trying to say is the right thing to say. Now, in the case of this particular mayor of Uvalde, there's a lot going on here. He was talking here at a special meeting for the city council, right? Officer Arredondo, I don't know if you guys remember, but he was actually sworn in as a city council member just a few days, or maybe even the next day after, it was a few days after the shooting, right? After we knew how ineffective he had been, he still took the oath of office after he had been elected prior to the shooting, right? So now a lot of people, and in part that's why the special meeting was called, a lot of families, a lot of people in Uvalde want him to step down from that position, but he has not, presumably he will not, right? So now the mayor is trying to take some of the blame off of local law enforcement and off of the city itself, and he's trying to pin the blame on state and even federal level officials. And for once, I don't know what Ted Cruz has to do with that particular day in Uvalde at Robb Elementary. He wasn't there, right? The cops were there. Arredondo was there, whoever else was there, but it wasn't those senators, right? And the footage that has been released so far from the Texas Department of Public Safety, it is pretty damning, right? And the director, he just recently gave a press conference and he laid out everything that happened that day as far as they know so far, what they've accumulated from their investigation. And this happened over a month ago. And just to remind you, the Uvalde police, they only started cooperating with the investigation as of a few days ago.
Right, because they're looking to cover something up. And again, we're seeing this flip really fast. I think we have time to run. And even if we don't finish this out, Don McLaughlin was standing firm with the rest of those folks that he's now turned on. He's discovering some horrific things and he doesn't want to be a part of it. Really fast, this is how angry it was at Beto O'Rourke when he ran up and disrupted their press conference to cover things up.
Pass the mic to Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
Governor, I have to say something.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Sit down.
You're out of line and an embarrassment.
Sit down and don't play this.
The next shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing.
No, he needs to get his ass out of here. This isn't the place to talk this over.
This is totally predictable when you.
Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Please leave this auditorium. I can't believe you're a sick son of a would come to.
So there is Don McLaughlin with a different energy and tone when he was still standing next to the governor, the deputy governor, and also Ted Cruz. When you're around those powerful figures, suddenly you're backing them up. But now that the heat has caught up to him, it's a whole different situation. I hope the truth comes out. It's slowly coming out. Maybe people will be following it close enough to find out exactly how these things happened. It was a pretty devastating day. They need to figure this whole thing out. And maybe McLaughlin is finally on the side of truth since he's not gonna be the mayor anymore.